Good evening, Master Duel fans. James Polk here. Alright, so first things first, about what goes on ever since the progression of the whole entire Duel Pass of sorts throughout the whole season. After cashing in 9,000 gems, pretty much spent it on the whole entire set of artistic angels. So when it comes to artistic angels, that would be the likes of the weather deck and sofa core decks. We'll be planning to try those out real soon in the near future, because I pretty much got to work with getting the staples for those two different decks. And hey, you know, as I always say to myself and to the new players, it's okay to try new things and don't be afraid to ask for help. So sooner rather than later, once I can get the engines, ratios, and the consistency for the weather decks as well as sofa core, there may be a possibility to show some replays of those other decks once I can get things going. But for right now, more Charmer content for this #1 Charmer enthusiast right here on this channel. I'm not going to change anything. Let's get the show on the road. Matches of the night to post. Elixir Black Awakening, Special Golden Lord from the hand in defense. Activates evenly matched. Chains Dynamiscus. Yeah, I think that Eldritch player did not realize he lost everything. Black Awakening banished, set Conquistador. And sets one more random. Activates Lightning Storm. Destroy all spells and traps. Chained Scarlet Sanguine. To special out Gold Boy straight from Jackal Force. Specials out Pancratops due to Golden Lord up. Instant Fuse into Thousand Eyes Restrict. Special ran Ryu, the fact that we got Restrict as a spellcaster. Restrict, suck up Golden Lord. Restrict, linked off into Artemis. Artemis and Renryu for Line of Link. Line of Link, steal Gold Boy. Normal summon the Droll. Make Selene. Now, first things first, if you might be wondering the two spell counters of all things. Oh, he banished the Black Awakening just so that I wouldn't be able to get the third spell count, which something I did not know about what happened at first. So I think that what I should have done was that if for some reason, if there was any access to any spell in any shape or form, most likely not. That's never going to happen anyway, so the three monsters go to work. Conquistador banished, set Black Awakening. And a Shattered Foily one at that too. Scarlet banished, set Conquistador. Activates Black Awakening. Special Gold Boy in defense. And then Eldritch player realizes that Pank is on board. So anything I do to spot removal it, I'll end up pretty much kill the gold boy and then just go to work from there on out. This next clip here features a new challenge up against one of my rather old decks, which is Trickstar. Activates Dark Ruin Nightmare. So, first things first, about playing against Trickstars. When Code of the Duelist first came out, it was between the options of Goki, World Chalice, or Trickstar. When I first got the whole box of Code of the Duelist, I pretty much chose to rock with Trickstars of all things because Gokis and World Chalice slash World Legacies, I pretty much have no interest in concept combos. But the real reason in terms of Trickstars, that isn't just waifu material answers. It's not just that, but it made me think it's one of those first new decks to try out in terms of how much absurd burn damage I can do in one go without having a chance for the opponent to play. Turns out half of the time does it. Activates Light Stage. Activation, get you a Trickstar monster, of course. And then once per turn, you can target one set card in your opponent's spell trap zone. While this card is face up on the field, that set card can't be active until the end phase, and your opponent must activate it during the end phase or send it to the graveyard. Each time a Trickstar monster you control inflicts battle or effect damage to your opponent, burn for 200. And then Candina, we know what's up with Candina. Normal summon, she's the Stratos of Trickstar cards, includes herself, spells, and traps as well. And then each time your opponent activates a spell or trap, burn your opponent for 2. Normal summons Candina. Adds Trickstar Lycoris. Now, as for Lycoris, as a quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, then target one Trickstar you control except Lycoris, special summon it, and if you do, return that monster to the hand. And random fun fact, in terms of the newer generation players, you can actually use more than one copies of Lycoris to target that same Trickstar monster, just so you can spam out multiple Lycorises, which is insanely nuts. And then each time a card or cards, more than one, is added to your opponent's hand, burn your opponent for 2. Activates Lycoris, target Candina, and sets one. This burn damage is gonna hurt. Lycoris for 2, Light Stage for 2, double Dark Room of Nightmare, and a hint of Narcissus. If your opponent takes effect damage outside of the damage step, special summon this from the hand. Hard once on the special summon this way. And then each time your opponent activates a monster effect in their hand or graveyard, burn your opponent for 2 immediately after it resolves. Special Law Narcissus, burn for 3, burn for 3. Activates Lightning Storm, kill the spells and traps. Opponent chains Max C, just in case if I have some shenanigans going on from the hand, which it was. So normal summon Ulsa, run over to Lycoris, sets one, and then just straight up pass. Enjoy that -1 off from Max C. Normal summons Candina again, searches Trickstar Live Stage. Now in this one, instead of Tanky, this one adds a Trickstar monster from graveyard to hand. And then each of the following effects of Live Stage once per turn, and the turn you do this, you can't special summon anything else except Trickstar, even if it leaves. If your opponent controls a back row, generate a Trickstar token. And if you control a Trickstar Link monster, generate a Trickstar token. Very light, level 1, no attack, no defense. Activates live stage, getting Lycoris. Generate a token because I control a back row. Link off the token into Trickstar Bloom. One level 2 or lower Trickstar monster to make it, token of course. If this card is link summoned, you can make your opponent draw one card, and I legitimately wish my opponent would have done that, but nah, not in that situation though. And then if a face-up Trickstar monster this card points to gets killed by a battle or effect, burn your opponent for 2 for each card in their hand. And then the burn effect is hard once. Live stage, Trickstar Link exists, generate a token. And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. Trickstar Holly Angel. 2 Trickstars in order to make her, of course. Each time a Trickstar monster or monsters, more than one, is normal or special to a zone or zones, this card points to, burn your opponent for 2. Trickstar monsters that this card points to can't be killed by battle or effects, and on top of that, if your opponent takes damage by a Trickstar monster's effect, including Holly Angel herself, this card gains attack equal to the damage they took until the end of the turn. Flips to Unpossessed just in case. Candina, burn for 2. Lycoris, target Candina. Special out the zone where Angel points to. Angel, burn for 2. Angel at 24. Unpossessed, special win. Narcissus and Lycoris for Crimson Heart. And of course I'll take the 2 due to Holly Angel. As for Crimson Heart here, 2 Trickstar monsters in order for Crimson Heart to be made. Each time a Trickstar monster or monsters, more than one, is normal or special to a zone that Crimson Heart points to, gain 200 life. You can discard 1 Trickstar card, both players draw 1, but if your life points was at least 2,000 higher than your opponent's, when this effect is activated, draw 2 instead. And hard once on Crimson Heart. Crimson Heart triggers. Trickstar draws 2 while I draw 1. Reborn. The Lycoris. Angel hits me for 2. Narcissus triggers once more. Crimson Heart and Narcissus for Foxglove Witch. If this card is special summon, doesn't gotta be link summon, but special summon, doesn't matter how, burn your opponent for 2 for each card they control. If this link summon card gets killed by battle or effect, special 1, link 2 or lower, Trickstar monster straight from the extra, then burn your opponent for 200 for each card they control. Hard once a Foxglove for each effect. And at this rate, in my head, I said to myself, I'm so sick and tired of this 200 damage stuffs. And Holly Angel hits me for 2. Foxglove hits me for 4. Foxglove Witch and Lycoris for Bella Madonna. And of course, I'm gonna take damage from Holly Angel. And I'm about almost halfway there in terms of slow but steady bleeding out the life points. 2 or more Trickstars to make her. While this link summon card points to no monsters at all, she isn't anyways. The case is, Bella Madonna is basically a towers in terms of activated effects. So to get around that thing, continuous effects still work in any shape or form. If this card points to no monsters at all, again, she hasn't. The case is, burn your opponent 200 damage for each Trickstar monster in your graveyard with a different name, hard once on the burn. Angel for 2. Bella Madonna for 12. Slow and steady, bleeding out the points. Special Gigabyte, Special Zenari Fire, Monstery Bonus Max C. Win in Max C, Reaper, Reaper Safet, Revive Win, Reaper and an Ari Fire for Hita Link. Reaper, get the Awakening spell. Awakening triggers. Win for Artemis. Artemis and Hita Link for Lina Link. Awakening spell triggers. Drawing into Ashes, nice. Lina special Foxglove Witch. Once again, if this card is special summoned, doesn't matter how, by the way. Burn my opponent for 600. Foxglove Witch and Gigabyte for access code. Normal summons Hita. Lina Link and Hita for Celine. Celine with 9 counters. Celine remove 3 for Asa. Celine and Asa for the Asa Link. A 1. And a 2. Asa over Bella Madonna. And access code. Opponent activates Trickstar Festival. As for the Trickstar Festival, generate 2 Trickstar tokens. If a Trickstar monster or monster is more than 1, you control that was special from the extra deck will be destroyed by battle or card effect. Banish this from graveyard instead, so saving grace. And then no normal or special the turn you do this except Trickstars. Hard once on Festival. And the Trickstar player eventually runs out of steam. This next challenge here features literally anything for extravagance, literally anything for duality, Ash, Banisher the Radiance, and Thunder King Ryo. Ouch, up against a stun deck. Now, as for Inspector Border, can't be normal or special if you control a monster. No one is allowed to activate monster effects unless the number of monsters effects that player has previously activated that turn is less than the number of monster card types currently on the field. Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, XZ, Pendulum, and Link. In other words, Inspector Border is literally Majesty's Fiend on steroids. If an effect's activation was negated, it still counts toward the total for that turn. Only count effects that were activated while this monster was face up on the field. Activates Feather Duster. Solemn Strike was a good hit. Special Pankratops. Normal Summon Lina. Pank over Inspector Border. Lina do some damage. Lina over Artemis. And of course, we got Pancratops as an Earth. Youch. Phosphodina Pachycephalo. When it comes to Phosphodina Pachycephalo, if this card is flipped face up, destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls. But the real effect is no one special summons. And then card demise, everybody knows what's up with that. Draw cards until you have 3, and then the turn you do this, no further damages. And during the end phase, this turn, send your entire hand to the graveyard, hard ones on card demise. And the turn you do this, you can't do no special summon the turn you activate this card. Basically, Phosphodina is literally same thing. No special summons. Stun player does not care about it. And ditches the entire hand of another Phosphodina, Ash, and yeesh. Thunder King Riot. Okay, seriously, this stun player does not really want me to play this game, huh? So as for Thunder King, you already know what's up about that card. No one adds anything from deck to hand, and Thunder King can stop inherent special summons by tributing the Thunder King itself. Pancratops over Phosphodina, and Artemis with the small works. Partnerships revive Lina. Artemis at Lina for Lina Link. Lina Link. Steal the Thunder King. Activates Necro Valley. Turns out that set card was Card of Demise. Okay, going for the record, by the way, ever since having full knowledge, except that one set, it made me think, at this rate, there's no use of harm of having Pancratops just do tribute to blow up one of the back row, knowing that Pancratops is normally the win con in this specific matchup in terms of seeing it super early game on. But, you know, that set demise was actually a bluff, and not gonna lie, that was well played. And draws just in case. Banisher of the Radiance. Anything sent to the graveyard ends up banished, hence the name Banisher of the Radiance. And then Power of the Guardians. If an attack is declaring involving the equipped monster, place 1 spell counter on it. And then extra 500 boost per counter on it. And on top of that, if the equipped monster will be destroyed by a battle or card effect, remove 1 spell counter from your field instead. At this rate, I pretty much had to chain Pancratops to get rid of the Banisher, just so that the target off from Power of the Guardians is missed. And then the Demise player ditches Moon Mirror Shield. If the equipped monster battles your opponent's monster during damage calc, the equipped monster's attack and defense become equal to whichever is the higher attack or defense, plus 100. During damage calc only. If this face-up card is sent from field to graveyard, pay 5. Place this card on either top or bottom of the deck. And that is game to the stun player by attacking his own Thunder King. This next matchup Looking at this hand, the hand is okay. But right now, none of it gets going. So in this challenge, up against Dragon Maids, Normal Summons Chamber gets the Dragon Maid changeover, Drolled it, and then activate the changeover. For the house Dragon Maid. Dragon Maid monster and a dragon type. Okay, that's a little bit more of a Dragon Maid's materials thing. The case about house this early on is that once per turn during the standby phase, no matter whose standby phase it is, target one other Dragon Maid monster you control, special one Dragon Maid from hand or graveyard, and defense whose level is one higher or lower than it. And on top of that, when another face-up dragon monsters, more than one, you control gets kicked back to the hand outside of the damage step, target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, as in not once per turn, which is disgusting. Activates World Legacy Guard Dragon. So, as for the Guard Dragon, first chance that this card gets activated, it is a monster reborn of a level 4 or lower dragon in your graveyard, or added to the hand as well, which is insanely gross. So it made me think, I didn't realize that normally specialing it is the way to go, but I also did not realize adding it into the hand can also be a thing as well. But good thing we got Ghost Spell to keep the World Legacy Guard Dragon in check, for that matter. And then once per turn, you can target one dragon monster you control, move it along to another zone, and hard once on World Legacy Guard Dragon. Target a chamber, and then once again, we got the Ghost Spell, which no one ever expects to play in any best of one. Ditches Tinkek for the 2000 boost, making house at 5,000. Activate Spirit Charmers, ditch the partnerships, adding in the Asa, sets the Awakening spell. Now, first of all, this is a literal mistake about adding in one of the FP chicks from deck to hand, knowing that instead of Asa, I should have went for literally any other FP chicks or Dark, because I already had an Earth. So had I done something different, it would have been game on board, but you know, oh well, so what? At least it's something, so we got backup plans for it. Activates Awakening spell and sets the Unpossessed. Normal Asa. Special Nefarious. Send it to Earths for a Reaper. Revive Droll. Droll into Artemis. Artemis and Reaper into Lina Link. Adds partnerships. And this is basically full board control at that rate. Unpossessed being flipped up. Normal Summons Parlor attempts to Armageddon Knight, which I decided to let this all go. Activates partnership in response, and Super Poly. Yeah, I don't think that Dragon Maid player realizes that partnerships doesn't even target at all, by the way. And then Parlor, Armageddon Knight's Lord Par. Awakening spell draws one, must be nice. And then Lina steal the house, along with Special Renryu, and that's all she wrote. And last but not least, this next clip here is going to be some jankiest synchro plays ever existed. So, first things first. The two Tenyi spirits, Adhara and Vishuddha. No effect monsters at all. They can be special summoned from the hand, which is part of the gimmick. Now, in this one for Vishuddha, face up non-effect monster you control. You can banish the Vishuddha from hand or grave, target one card your opponent controls, kick it back to the hand, and then Adhara here. Banish the Adhara from hand or grave, target one of your banished worms, accept the earth, add it back to the hand. And then these two together for Crystron Halki Fibrax. The same old song and dance begins. Despot 1 off from Halki Fibrax. These two together for Auroradon. Auroradon generate the 3 tokens. Despot 001 comes back. Auroradon tributed 2 for Mecha Phantom Beast Olion. We already know what's up about Olion being banned in the TCG, but we're going to bring back one of the banned cards in terms of memory of the effect. So if you don't know about Olion, here's how it works. Mecha Phantom Beast gimmick. You control a Mecha Phantom Beast token, Olion, as well as too many Mecha Phantom Beasts. Can't be killed by battle effects. If this card is sent to the graveyard, doesn't matter how, generate a Mecha Phantom Beast token. And according to the tokens, level 3 Wind Machine, no attack, no defense. And then the Dandelion effect of Olion is a hard one. And then on top of that, you can banish this card from your graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Put up a normal summon of a extra Mecha Phantom Beast. These 2 tokens and Olion. Borload Savage Dragon. Savage gets hooked up, and then Herald on board. So Omni negate, another negate with a hint of Macrocosmos. Dope. Let's see if we can break this through. Normal Summon Droll, Special Nefarious, Special Renryu, Combat, Renryu hit Herald, Droll into Artemis, Artemis and Nefarious for the Reaper, Infinite Impermanence. Oh, and by the way, this is something people better pay attention to when it comes to Infinite Impermanence. For the rest of this turn, all other spells and traps that are in the same column as Imperm ends up getting negated. This is definitely something players have to pay attention. So once that Imperm is getting flipped up, anything you do in terms of spells or traps to be activated from that column ends up automatically negated due to impermanence. So be very, very careful. Reaper and Renryu for also Link. Reaper attempts to get the search, but Savage ends up negating it. Spirit Charmers ditching partnerships, thank goodness for no Ash. Add the spell, set the unpossessed. Alsa steals 001. Awakening spells being placed. Link summon into Selene. And my opponent realizes about what's going to happen in this same old song and dance of a combo move. So guys, that's going to do it for those Tuesday night matches. If you'd love to see more compilation of those matches. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit that notification bell to keep yourselves constantly updated. And I'll catch you guys next time. Laters.